You're a poverty man. Well, that's good. That's fine. But Edwards is a populist, a progressive populist. And Brother Huckabee is a conservative populist. Socially conservative, but concerned about poor people and concerned about race. 48% of black people voted for Huckabee when he ran for governor in Arkansas. Right? Black folk are not stupid. He is a person who was concerned about these present industrial complex and these schools and these neighborhoods and the crime and so forth and so on. But I think Obama certainly is embraced and has embraced, and certainly in his life and career been deeply concerned about poverty. It's just that he has not been advised to make poverty his central theme. And probably if he did, he would not have won Iowa. He would not have had 37% in New Hampshire. So there's a certain prudential dimension to politics that we have to acknowledge as much as I should. By prudential, I don't mean opportunistic.
Right. But
I mean applying ideals to varying circumstances and conditions, not just choosing any opportunity in order to win. Because I don't support politics. I'm too old. I'm 54 years old. I don't support any garden variety politicians who just promote opportunism. I'm serious.
Yeah, no.
Life's too short at this point.
When you say ice age is beginning to melt, what are the positive signs? You've talked about this in the past. What are the signs that, leaving aside the acrimony that's in the political scene as recently as a few hours ago, what are the good signs?
Well, no, I mean the signs are that the social bases that served as the very pillars for corporate elite rule are disintegrating. They're being disaggregated as we speak. The coalition between the social conservatives and the tax cut conservatives and the national defense conservatives all now no longer coalesce. They don't have a charismatic figure to do it, and they don't have any kind of strategy, the Karl Rove-like strategy of divide and conquer, to do it. You see, they're running the Browns away. They're supposed to embrace it. They've given up on black folk for a long time. We saw that with Brother Tavis's debate in Baltimore, you see. Right. And now you've got Christian conservative evangelicals who have actually begun to talk seriously about issues of AIDS and poor people and the concern of third world poverty and so forth. And that's very important because there's been internal debates within conservative evangelicals. This is where Jim Wallace and others have played an important role. And even as a Christian myself, they don't listen to me as much, but I think I might have, well, I wouldn't even go that far. I wouldn't have indirect influence either. But I just agree with the Wallaces and others who are having the kind of impact within those circles. Right. And once those social bases are disaggregated and begin to dissolve, the corporate elites are just, it's like the emperor has no clothes. Is this what it's about? Greed? Is this what it's about? Fear? Is this what it's about? This almost a hatred in certain sense, especially when it comes to gay brothers and lesbian sisters and so on. You see? So, oh my God. Is this really what we're about? And it's the moderate right citizens right in the middle. They don't want to be aligned with a xenophobic party. They don't want to be aligned to a corporate elite that's out of control with greed running amok, even though that's in part been the case. Even among the corporate elites themselves, saying that business week and corporate elites greedy now. This is not Karl Marx's analysis. Right. This is Business Week. You say, oh, interesting. Oh, I see.
It gets into Forbes, well, really, the revolution is here.
Yes, true.
On the racial front, the Southern strategy, you've talked about this, that the Republican Party has used for so long, it surfaced in the last campaign, for instance, in those commercials about Congressman Ford in Tennessee. But it seems, although he lost barely, it seems to be losing its hold. The whole Macaca incident in Virginia. Do you think is a generational change even in the white South where racism is becoming finally more and more unacceptable?
You know, I think it's hard to say. I mean, it's very interesting that Brother Harry Dent died.
Yes, the creator ago. The Nixon, Thurman Nixon.
He's the architect of Southern strategy, going back to Thurman.
Thurman, yeah.
Going back 1948. And he was behind the Nixon Southern strategy. He was in consultation with Karl Rove. He's in consultation all the way through. Now, he physically dies, and now it looks as if the strategy is running out of gas. But it doesn't mean that it can't be revived. This is America now. This is America. We crushed Jim Crow Sr., legalized segregation, American terrorism, and lynching, but we know we still live in Jim Crow Jr. today in terms of de facto segregation. where people live, who they associate with, who they socialize with, which press they read. So there's still a sense in which black people live in a very different world than the white mainstream, which is to say we live in both worlds. Because we read the Times and the Post and so forth. Very few white brothers and sisters read Amsterdam News. They don't read Ebony, they don't read Jet, people Tavis Smiley, State of the Black Union. Well, a lot of people do, especially young generation, but you'd be surprised how many don't. You say, oh my God, wait a minute. These people are not just integral parts of American history and culture, but black people's struggle for freedom is the key to the moral and political history of the democratic experiment called America. Look at the cover today in the New York Times. A beautiful picture of Frederick Douglass. What is America without Frederick Douglass? Not just because he's black. He's a Democrat, small d in the way in which the founding fathers were not. They were slaveholders. Or limited Democrats. That's another way of putting it. Right? It was a Herring folk democracy for whites only. Right? Douglass says no. Martin says no. A. Philip Randolph says no. This is the key to American democracy. No habeas corpus, no due process, 14th Amendment without raising the question, what is the status of 4 million slaves? First time we raised the issue of what is a citizen in America. You had to define that question in relation to what is the status of these 4 million slaves. So that when you talk about American democracy, black people are not just interesting additions. They're not just part of the colorful glass menagerie. And this is the difference between our brown brothers and sisters and our Asian brothers and sisters. You see, their presence, their struggle for freedom does not have that particular weight and gravitas in the development of this precious yet precarious experiment called democracy. And Obama comes out of that legacy, even though he is a very different kind of black brother. And Jesse Jackson, who I love and criticize, and Al Sharpton, who I love and criticize, they have a difficult time accepting that. They want Obama to be like them, more bold and audacious and willing to speak the truth about the legacy of white supremacy.
Is this a generational thing?
It's partly generational, probably have to do with envy too. Well, let's just be honest. Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah. When you center stage for so long, you become addicted to the camera. You know what I mean? Yeah. But not only that, I mean, it's what I told the people in the Apollo the other night when I said, look, Alicia Keys knows she's not Aretha Franklin. You see? They're saying with Jerry Herman ought to know he's not Stephen Sondheim. We can love all of them. They have their different gifts. But Aretha is very deep. Sondheim, very deep. Jerry Herman, very good. Alicia Keys, very, very good. I was sitting next to Alicia yesterday at the BET Awards. Both of us received awards. And she said, well, I read what you said about me. I said, I love you. You are a towering figure for your generation. Aretha Franklin, no more need be said. I said, I mean, so that you can't compare Obama to Martin. That's what I really disliked about Sister Hillary's language. She said, why even make an analogy?
Really to drag Johnson into it. It's LBJ, it's strange.
But Johnson made a great contribution on the legislative front. But somebody like Martin, who like Frederick Douglass, I mean, James Brown says in his autobiography, Martin was America's best friend. Because America would never make it into a post-apartheid state in the South without that gentle spirit, that loving orientation, that willingness to embrace even folk who are going to shoot him down like a dog. How many people are going to be like that? America ought to be giving him a standing ovation, other Negroes and others who supported him every day for the democracy. You wouldn't have a democracy. You would have got a black Al-Qaeda. How long can people be terrorized in the modern world? For 90 years you had Jim Crow and lynching, and the response to American terrorism of Martin and Emmett Till's mother is what? We struggle for justice, not revenge. That we love in the face of bigotry. I mean, that's a high, I mean, it's in their still human beings, but it's a level of spiritual maturity and moral depth that America has to acknowledge, and it does in its own way. But he's not, in that sense, you can't compare the two. Johnson has played a crucial role. And as I was talking about Bill Goldstein before, before we came in here. But Johnson ends his speech saying,